Hello cherry lovers, today I'm going to be making chocolate chip, raisin, and oatmeal cookies. One of Larry's favorites, so stay tuned. Okay cherry lovers, let's get started. We're going to begin with the ingredients. In this cup, this little bowl here, I have 1 cup of flour. Also in that bowl is a half a teaspoon of baking soda already added and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt that I made into an 1/8 teaspoon of salt. So remember, with this recipe, it's going to be an 1/8 teaspoon of salt because I'm using salted butter. You can use unsalted butter if you prefer, but it would take a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So I don't want to confuse anybody. So I added in here 1/8 teaspoon of salt. And we're going to use the salted butter. You're going to be using 1 stick of salted butter. Also, we have here a 1/4 cup of granulated white sugar. And then we have here a 1/2 cup of packed light brown sugar. And then you have 1½ teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 large egg. And here we have 1 1/4 cups of old-fashioned oats. Do not use the quick oats. You're using the old-fashioned oats. And here we have 1/2 cup of chocolate chips and then a 1/2 cup of raisins. Now, also for the mixer, I'm using the whisk on my mixer, not the regular blender, but just the whisk. And you only use 1. And my blender here. And we have a bowl. And also, you're probably going to need 2 pans, cookie sheets. Make sure you layer your pans with parchment paper, or you can use the silicone mats to do that with. But I'm using parchment paper so that it won't stick to my pan. So let's get started of mixing the ingredients. Okay, we already have our salt, soda mixed in with our flour. So the next step we're going to do is put this aside, and then we're going to put in our stick of butter. And with the stick of butter, we're going to add in our sugar and the brown sugar, and then we're just going to mix that up with the whisk for about 2 to 3 minutes till it's nice and creamy. And you want to do this on low. And that's on low, and it's still kind of, so just make sure you keep it on low. And again, you do this for about 2 to 3 minutes until it's nice and blended, and then we'll go on to the next step. Okay, now that's about a couple of minutes. We're going to give it 1 more minute, but we're going to scrape the sides down. As you can see, it's coming together very nicely. And like I said, it only takes 2 or 3 minutes. It's been about a couple of minutes, so we're going to go give that about another minute, 30 seconds to a minute, and that ought to do it. Okay, and the next thing we're going to add in here is our large egg and our vanilla flavoring. And then we're going to stir this for about another 30 seconds to a minute. So it's nice and incorporated. And you do want to scrape your sides. Make sure you get it all in there. Okay, and the next thing we're going to add is the flour. And start that out, and you make sure you put it on low, and just let that work its way around. Stir that. You want to do that just until the flour is combined. That's probably be about another minute. Get that all combined. Okay guys, now the next part is going to be a lot simpler. You want to make sure you get all the sides together. We got that all in there. And now we're just going to mix in the oatmeal. You don't want to over stir this. You just want to mix till it's evenly distributed throughout the dough. And that doesn't take very long. You just want to get this stirred just until it's combined. You may take turning it over a few times to get that done. Okay, and that's pretty combined. Now the next thing we're going to add in is our chocolate chips. Very simple recipe, guys, but very delicious. I'm not a big fan of oatmeal cookies, but when I made these, I became a fan of oatmeal cookies. Okay, then you want to add in, you don't want to really stir this. You want to kind of fold it in there just until it's mixed in there. Kind of get them distributed throughout the dough. Okay, now the next step is very simple also. You want to take this, after you've got this mixed, you want to set it in your refrigerator for at least 1 hour. Now the reason I set this in the refrigerator for 1 hour, you can go ahead and bake these, but they will become flatter. And if you put them in the refrigerator for about an hour, at least an hour, I have left them in overnight when I was pressed for time, and it's okay to leave them in overnight, but at least an hour, and then they will actually plump up a little bit more, but they will become pretty flat if you don't put them in the refrigerator for at least an hour. So we gotta cover this up with some aluminum foil, and we're gonna stick it in the refrigerator for 1 hour, and then I will be right back. Okay guys, now let my cookie dough actually rest in the refrigerator for over an hour. And now we're going to take and place them on the cookie sheet. Now, I've got parchment paper on mine. You can use parchment paper, like I said, or you can use silicone. But you've got to remember to preheat your oven to 350. Okay, and this right here is a half a tablespoon measure. But what I do is I just scoop out about a heaped up ball, roll it up, and place that on the pan. And then you want to get another about the same size. Try to keep them as even as possible. And another thing I found on this, you could put 4, but that causes them to run together. So it'll be a lot better if you just use 3 in a row, like that. And then you can use the 3 rows. Roll them up. These are, you're going to notice that when you take these out of the refrigerator, they're going to be a little bit thicker, firm than they were when you put them in there. And we'll add just a little bit more to that one. And as I said, you want to make 3 in a row, because 4 is too many. They actually run on, and I've tried to do that before, to put the 4 to try and get less baking time. Okay. So we're going to put, and since I just turned my oven on, we're actually going to do the other tray. And I can only put 1 pan in the oven, in my oven, at a time. My oven will only hold 1 pan. So I'm going to finish this up off camera, and then after these cook, you want to let them cook for at least 12 minutes. Now, I'll tell you right now, the center of the cookie might look like it's not done, might look a little bit doughy. That's okay, because once it's out, once it sits, it'll be okay. Okay, so I'm going to finish this up, and then I'm going to pop it in the oven for 12 minutes. If it doesn't appear to be quite ready, then give it a minute or 2 more. Don't let it stay in there longer than 14 minutes. Okay, and the last step before you put it in the oven, I've already pressed these down, is take your spoon and lightly press. You don't have to press them really hard or really flat, but lightly press the very tops of them. Just like that. Lightly press them before you pop them in the oven. And as you can see, these are all pressed down. Not smashed bad, but just a little bit pressed down. And we're going to pop this into the oven. And then we're going to set the timer for 12 minutes. And if they're done after 12 minutes, then you can take them out. Sometimes they're done, depending on your oven, sometimes you might not have to let them go any longer than 12 minutes. So start it at 12 minutes, and then we'll go from there. See you shortly. Okay, guys, the cookies are ready, and they are coming out of the oven. Wow, look at that. Now, I would love to tell you that I'm going to dive right in and pick that up, but I'm not, because that is too hot. So you see them fresh out of the oven. They look amazing. I'm going to give them about, I don't know, 10 minutes to cool, and then we're going to come back and taste test these. See you shortly.
Okay, guys, she made me these cookies because she knows I love them. So I'm going to try them, even though I already know they're delicious, but I'm going to try them because I don't mind eating a couple cookies. So these are nice and still warm. Look at them, chewy. You know I like cookies, and you know I like Joyce's Sweets. So if you guys like this video, hit a thumbs up and come back. We got more videos coming to this, and who knows what we got. But hit the like and subscribe, and hey, we'll talk to you later, and we'll see you on another one. Bye now.